What's up, my people? It's time for a new review, and tonight we're doing the 1994 classic Interview with the Vampire. Or as Tom Cruise would say, Louis, Louis, Louis. And that is one of my main positives of this movie. Is Tom Cruise as Lestat. I'm not a big Tom Cruise fan, but I really do love the way he plays Lestat in this movie. And it is so good. And you also have Brad Pitt as Louis, and you get Kirsten Dunst, a very young Kirsten Dunst as Claudia. In this movie. And most of your movie focuses around Lestat and Louis, but as it progresses and you start getting to the second act of the movie, that's when they introduce Claudia, and she becomes Louis' kind of, the only way you call it is his best friend and his confidant, whereas Lestat acts like the petulant child who broke his toy and was told that he wasn't getting a new one. And that's some of the things I really do enjoy about this movie is, you have Lestat, who's been around way long, hundreds of years. And, he always, he's always contradictory to his own statements. On one minute he'll talk about a vampire's dark arts and all the things he knows, but then he later on, when Brad Pitt's character is questioning him, he goes, why should I know these things? It's such a dichotomy of a character. And the way Tom Cruise plays Lestat, you cannot. And as much as I love Stuart Townsend in Queen of the Damned, sorry, I would have loved to have seen Tom Cruise play the role of Lestat again. But back to my point at hand. And then as you get further along this movie, that's when they go to that's when you meet Armand in the theater of vampires. And that is the one character I wish we could get in a Vampire Chronicles movie. I would love to have Antonio Banderas reprise his role as Armand and put him on the big screen. Don't get me wrong, I love Tom Cruise, but Antonio Banderas as Armand was so good in this movie, and he only had like one, maybe two scenes of dialogue in the entire 2 hour running time of this movie. Does that tell you how good he played that character? And then, what else do I love that I'm a sucker for? Cinematography and aesthetic. And everything from the old Mississippi plantations to the Paris Opera House to, you know, everything in between. It's so beautiful. There is nothing like the theater when you first get introduced to Armand and his theater of vampires. It's that level of beautiful. But I also like how they did the old plantations. It was so. It made you feel like you were actually growing up on the plantation. And if I'm going to rank this movie, I would give Interview with the Vampire an 8.5 out of 10. It's that high for me. It's not the perfect movie, but it has a lot of the things I look for in a vampire movie. So that is why I'm giving Interview with the Vampire an 8.5 out of 10. It's damn near perfect to me.